Okay, Maheshji, go ahead.
I have two questions. One is, what is the difference between dhyanam and upasana?
What is the difference between dhyana and upasana? In most of the contexts, there is no difference. Okay, no difference at all. Upasana is dhyana. Upasana is dhyana. Sometimes, see, dhyanam is there, then nididhyasanam is there. There are two separate types of meditations, if you will. Okay? I mean, in terms of types of meditation, there are many types, etc. That's different. But in our context, Saguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyaparaha is dhyana. Means a mental occupation, a mental activity where the Ishvara Chintanam is constant, okay, is dhyana. By that definition, everything comes here. But suppose now what happens? After some time, Nididhyasanam becomes important. Nididhyasanam means repeating the understanding of the Mahavakya. Okay. What is the purpose of Nididhyasanam and purpose of Dhyana? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. Okay. Shravanam, what is the purpose of Shravanam? Shravanam is Avarana Nivrittihi, if you want to write it down. That is the purpose of Shravanam. Means what? This ignorance that's covering me to this reality, that ignorance is removed. Removal of Avaranam. Okay. Then what is Mananam? Mananam is Shamshaya Nivritti. Now what happens? It's clear, but now doubts are there. Doubts, because this is all something to know, and therefore when knowing is involved, doubts will automatically come. Therefore, Mananam means removal of doubts. What we are doing now is Mananam. Mananam. Satsang means Mananam, because questions, answers, clarification. Called Mananam. Questions will not come if there is no subject matter to talk about. When there is no Shravanam, there cannot be Mananam. So, Shravanam, Mananam. Nididhyasanam. Okay, now, when Mananam is there, I'll come to Nididhyasanam. Dhyanam goes along with Mananam. Mananam is there, now appreciation is increasing. Therefore, possibility of Dhyanam is there. I want to spend some time with myself. Okay? Doing a japa. Om Krishnaya Namaha. Om Shivaya Namaha. Om Devyai Namaha. Lalitayai Namaha. That's japa. So that japa is there. To calm the mind down and bring myself back to the Shastram periodically. Dhyanam, basic Dhyanam. All Dhyanam is meant to give me that ability to focus. Purpose of Dhyanam is to give the ability to focus. On a subject matter that is very subtle. That's very subtle. The subject requires some nourishment, that Dhyanam gives that nourishment. Then this Nididhyasanam is the last step, correct? Nididhyasanam. What is the purpose of Nididhyasanam? First one was what? Avarana Nivritti. Second one, Samshaya Nivritti. Third one, Viparita Bhavana Nivritti. After Mananam, the game is over, really speaking. But then, because of the habitual error, habitually who I am is I am an individual. I am this body, mind, sense complex. My idea is I am a limited being and the world is, I am opposed to the world. This is my idea. This is how I've been leading. Not just this Janma, but all past Janmas also. Therefore, now it is like the dog's tail. Dog's tail is curved. And now Shastram says it is not curved. It is straight. Maybe not a good example. But I don't know. I have to, my response has to be in keeping with what I know. If I am complete, then Adveshta, Sarvabhutana, Maitraha, Karunaha, Evacha, all these values should automatically come out of me, but it's not coming. Enama? One second. It's not automatic. Why is it not automatic? Krishna says he's listing all these values. But I don't see any values in me. Even though I understood every word of the Bhagavad Gita.
Force
Why?
of habit.
My way. Now I have to now learn to reflect those values in myself. Aham Purnaha. Aham Asangaha. Repeating some of these words. Veshta Sarva Bhutanam. Okay. Nityaha. Sarvagataha. What is the meaning of understood? I know what Nitya is. I know what Sarvagatatvam is. I know everything. Why do I behave like I'm a small entity? That question can be answered only in Nididhyas. How can we get answered? Remind myself. No, I'm not small. I'm not, I don't have to, I shouldn't be reacting like this. I'm big. I'm too big. I'm the whole. Asangoh aham. Ngohyaham. Purnoham. Soham. So bringing that, when I say soham, when I say Nitya Sarvagata Sthanoho, suddenly what happens? Entire teaching comes to me through those words. I'm not trying to understand the meaning of the word Nitya, etc. I already know the meaning because Shravanam is over. Mananam is over. Now I have to just tell myself, I am this person, right? I'm reminding myself who I am. I have to remind myself who I am. That is what happens in Nididhyasa. Once I keep reminding myself, no, it is like this guy, right? A homeless person who hit a jackpot. Homeless person hit a jackpot. So many millions of rupees or dollars or whatever. This person used to make few dollars a day. Now he hit a jackpot of $1 million plus. Tell me. This guy has to do a lot of nididhyasana. Why? Because he doesn't have to pick up stuff from the street. He doesn't have to do all that anymore. He doesn't have to beg anybody. He doesn't have to say, sir. Amma. He doesn't have to say, but why? It keeps coming, amma. Why? Yes, that's how. His entire past 50 years was like that. He has to say, I shouldn't say amma. I shouldn't say amma. Like that, he has to do nididhyas. I'm a millionaire. I can afford nutrition. I can afford nutritious food. This is called nididhyasa.
Because in sloka number 6 on this chapter, in the last quarter, it says, Mam.
So let me complete your question. Sure. What is the difference between dhyanam and this one?
Right.
Upasana. That was your question. So this is what I said so far is what we need to understand. So now, then what we say, if dhyanam and upasanam has to be separated out, then one way to separate it is what? Dhyanam that goes along with mananam. In the mananam stage, I want to do dhyanam. Then the dhyanam in the stage of nididhyasanam is called upasanam. That is one way to separate out dhyanam and upasanam. The other way is upasanam includes both dhyanam and nididhyasanam, depending on what I need. And that is called upasanam. Upasanam. Upasamipe aste iti upasanam. I stay with myself. That is called upasana. That is the literal meaning. Upavasa also is same meaning, but applied to some one particular day of the month or whatever.
Can you repeat what you said, Jagmaj? Upasamipe aste? Iti
upasanam. Okay. Upasamipe aste. Aste means asanam kurute.
Yeah.
One who sits with oneself is doing upasaka. That person is an upasaka. Literal meaning.
Guruji, Guruji, you mentioned a little earlier about Viparita Bhavana, which is the habitual error of I am the body-mind complex being erased through the affirmation of Aham Purnaha.
Yes.
What did you say it was called? Viparita Bhavana? You had
So,
one more word. It was not audible.
Nivritti, removal, Nivritti. Just like Samshaya Nivritti, I mean, Avarana Nivritti, Samshaya Nivritti, Viparita Bhavana Nivritti. Removal of, removal of, removal of. Yeah, Maheshji.
Because my question came because of in sloka number 6, the last quarter, it says Mam Dhyayanta Upasate. So that's why I asked what was the difference. Because some places the Upasanam is translated as worship in some place, and Dhyanam is meditation. So I don't know whether there was, what exactly was the difference. Since it occurred on the same sloka, I know it has to have some difference, but I didn't know what was the difference.
There, Dhyayantaha, Mam Dhyayantaha, thinking of me.
Yeah.
Okay. They do Upasanam. Means they do Upasanam of me. They do Dhyanam of me. So their Dhyanam is thinking of me. Means I am they are doing Upasanam on me. That is the way it is being said there. Om Dhyayanta.
Dhyayanta is a present continuous, right?
Correct. Thinking of me, they do Upasana.
Okay. Now, the second question is, today's sloka in 13. Yeah, so there you said that the titiksha, we said, for example, the shami is, we said titiksha, but I thought shami is like more forgiving something, isn't it? And titiksha is a tolerance. That's what we learned in Tattva Bodha, as translated as.
Yeah, so Maheshji is asking a good question, which is Kshama. The word Kshama is there. Kshama means forgiving. No? That is how, in common parlance, it's what Kshama karo. Okay. Prabhu humko Kshama karo. God also, you should forgive me. And if I made a mistake, friends also will forgive me. So Kshama. Popular translation. I think Kshama is I think it is a popular translation. But it derives from what? It derives from accommodation. You forgive me means you accept me. You accommodate me. That is the meaning. That is forgive. Whatever I did, you accept it. Accept it. Means what? You don't react to that. You be kind to me. And therefore, forgive me is a derivative of Kshama, original Kshama, I think. We need to look at the origins and meanings and all. But my sense is it's a derivative. Apparently different meanings, but derivative. Yeah, Shama. So that's very popular. So I see that they are not unrelated. They're very closely related.
So, but titiksha is more of a tolerance, isn't it? Like I can bear cold, I can bear heat. Isn't it tolerance of maybe people's behavior or people's? I'm just giving it. That's the way we learned in Tattva Bodha, if I remember.
Yeah. So forbearance, putting up with.
Yeah,
forbearance. Tolerance. Some people say tolerance, but since the word tolerance has other connotations, I don't use that word tolerance. And forbearance, capacity to endure, endurance, those are better words. I think. You can think about it.
Here it might mean.
So how can they be same then? I mean, one is. Okay, at capacity to accept.
How can Kshama and Titiksha be same?
Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, so related again, maybe used in different contexts. Okay, related. But Titiksha is not simply used for I'm putting up with the cold and heat. That is not titiksha. That is just an example of we give.
Yeah, example.
Titiksha is putting up with people also.
Yeah. People behavior. I said, yeah.
Therefore, titiksha and kshama are identical.
Oh, I see.
See, kshama, yeah, kshama can apply to situations too, environment and things like that. So I think they are identical. Kshama and titiksha. I'm finding it hard to find an exception. Yeah, Anuradhaji, go ahead.
It's kind of the same thing. The upasanam, usually it is used for Saguna Brahma Upasana. I know there is also Nirguna Brahma Upasana, but I'm saying the local usage, Upasana meaning that just to the gods.
And so your question is what?
That again, like, what you are saying, that because there are so many contextual meaning, so we have to know those meanings also. Because upasana, what you translated, it says it all.
Right.
I
Exactly.
stay with myself. So that doesn't mean I stay with myself is not really Saguna Brahman. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And so that is why we use dhyanam and upasanam somewhat loosely because for us, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. This is the main thing. If we understand this, then dhyanam will fit in wherever it fits in, it's fine. And Nididhyasanam is a different type of dhyanam, we will say.
Yeah.
And so we can use the word upasanam. Whether we use the word upasanam or dhyanam, it's not that relevant for us in our study. But when somebody Shankaracharya uses the word, we do look into it. What does Shankaracharya really mean when he says that? We look into it. But we don't find that great differences between the word dhyanam and upasana. We will interpret it according to context.
Yeah, I think that's the better way to look at it. Now, Nididhyasanam, it is the dhatu, right?
Yes. Dhyai
Dhatu. So the comes from that, like dadati.
Yeah.
Then, so Nididhyasanam then means that, again, stay with myself, like, asanam, taking asanam, the dhatu.
Yeah, so I have not looked into the origin of the etymology of Nididhyasana. I need to do that. But we should understand the purpose of Nididhyasana. Purpose. What is the purpose? So, Viparita Bhavana.
Because, once we know where it comes from, then it's so easy. Like when you said the upasana, where it came from, then it says it all. So if we know the root of the Nididhyasanam, we will be very clear. We don't need to ask twice that what it means. So like that's what you are saying, that knowledge of Sanskrit is so important.
So yeah, I mean, I think so. I personally think so. And at least for the teacher, it's very important. At least for the teacher, minimum. Because these kinds of insights cannot be, it's not available for somebody who has not studied Sanskrit, right? And it's called Veda Samrakshanam. Veda Samrakshanam, when we say Rakshanam, Rakshanam is protection. Samrakshanam, Samyak Rakshanam is how to really protect the Vedas by studying it. Okay, by studying it. And studying it means you can study it to any extent, great level of detail you can study. So those who understand the big picture and those who are able to go into the language also. Language is automatic. And Sanskrit being such a language, the study of the language is essential for Veda Samrakshana. That's our view. That's our view. Because the language tells a story. For us, every word is talking to us, and we need to carefully listen to that word, Good. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, Vaidyaji.
Namaste, Jaykumarji. So then Veda Samrakshanam can also mean not only our own self-study of Vedas, but also protecting those who know the Vedas well, right? By supporting them and.
Yeah, absolutely. Vaidya. That goes without saying. Yeah, I can only do so much also. There is a limitation to what we can do.
Yeah.
And so I will keep doing that. I'll push myself. I'll keep doing that. But at the same time, I'm so happy that there are so many others doing it. And many of them have given up their otherwise so-called lucrative careers to do this. Therefore, let me be behind them. Let me be the Poshaka. And let me tell them that you don't have to worry. You do what you're doing well. I will support you financially because, people need basics. So, therefore, you go to Veda Pathshalas, they will not ask for money, They will never campaign. No Veda Pathshala will ask. Occasionally, rarely, they will put an advertisement somewhere and say, we need some funds. But it's the duty of the society to stand up and just go visit them, go do our best. We have to do that. That's our culture. Because they won't ask. They may end up in the streets, but they will not ask even for 1 paisa. They will just say, no, this is how it is. We may have to forego a meal, they will say, but they will never go out and ask. Such is our culture. Yeah, Premaji, go ahead.
Guruji, I'm just verifying because the question asked by Mahesh Ji was, I think, Dhyanam and Prarthana. What is the difference, right? So would you classify Prarthana as an Upasana? I didn't hear the whole question.
Yeah, but no, question was about Dhyanam and Upasana. So he did not use the word Prarthana there.
Prarthana, okay. So I was not clear on that. So would Prarthana be...
Prarthana is generally understood as prayer, Prarthana. But the prayer does not stop with standing in front of the Murti and saying a couple of shlokas. That is also prayer. Upasanam is also a Prarthana. The Prarthana. It is a Prarthana. That is why Krishna can say, Jnani is the greatest bhakta. Okay, but there is no bhakta without one doing Prarthana anyway. So Jnani also does Prarthana. Doesn't have to do Prarthana, but Jnani also does Prarthana, and therefore he or she is a bhakta also. Yeah, so Prarthana is a broad word, but popularly understood as the basic prayers that we offer on a daily basis.
Thank you, Guruji.
Vaidyaji, go ahead.
Jaykumarji, I think I might have missed this. So did you say Upasanam is basically the Dhyanam when Nididhyasanam is involved? That particular Dhyanam like Soham. So is it like a Nirguna, Ishvara, Vichara?
Yeah, the Upasanam is the final stage of Dhyanam, so to speak.
Okay.
Advanced Dhyanam, if you want to call it.
Okay.
Nididhyasana Pradhana Dhyanam is
Ah.
Upasana.
Okay.
But it is not used in that way all the time. Okay, so Upasanam will refer to Dhyanam in many cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dhyanam in general. Yeah. Anything else, Vaidya?
Yeah. So yeah, I think what you're saying is often Upasanam and Dhyanam are used interchangeably.
Yes.
And that dhyanam can be just a mental japa also can be a dhyanam, like you're saying Om Namah Shivaya, for example, which will be a Saguna Brahma or Saguna Brahma Vichara Manasa Vyapara, if you're saying it mentally, Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes.
So that, would you say that you're doing that at the stage of Mananam, or you're doing that in the stage of Shravanam?
See,
And
sometimes and Dhyanam can be done even before Shravanam.
correct.
Because there is a value, somebody has a value for Dhyanam. So I'm going to do
Correct.
Dhyanam.
Yes.
For my own personal benefit, for calming my mind down, etc. People do Dhyanam. So that Dhyanam is a purpose is different.
Correct. Even our
Here-
Gayatri Japa is like that, right? Before formal Shravanam, Gayatri Japam is.
Yeah, so correct. So the Dhyanam is not new to those who are initiated to the Vedas, Gayatri Japa. Gayatri Japa is done every day. So without using the word Dhyanam, we do Dhyanam.
Yeah.
Without knowing that we do Dhyanam, we do Dhyanam.
That's true. இதுதான் தியானம்.
Very interesting it is.
Yeah.
But that's a precursor. That's what
Yeah.
allows a person to just gravitate towards Dhyana
Correct.
with a purpose now. Purpose, Saguna Brahma, Vishaya Manasa Vyaparaha. Even Gayatri Japa chanting was the same thing. Saguna Brahma, Vishaya Manasa Vyaparaha only it was. It was not different.
Right.
And so Dhyanam formally becomes important after Shravanam. Even though it was done before Shravanam. Now the purpose is different. It gains a newer dimension, greater importance. Yeah. Viran Narayan, go ahead. You had a question, no?
Yeah.
I was just trying to understand, Guruji, this Adveshta, Kshami, even Dhyanam, I thought all comes hand in hand, is it not? Like Adveshta is like so much to do with values. So once it is assimilated, then automatically it becomes very easy. So for it to assimilate, Dhyanam goes hand in hand, that the person has to keep thinking over it. And once it is assimilated, it probably gets to Upasanam. So I think this cannot be defined with boundaries, right? Kshami and all these things goes hand in hand, right? Everyday basis when you are interacting. So always when values are questioned and when you keep cross-checking, it's a form of dhyanam only. Like you are doing on a daily basis. So you're not actually sitting in one place, but it's happening. So
Correct. So 2 points you made. One is there a hard boundary between these values? That is one thing. We can appreciate something and then we let go. And then because in any given relationship, there is constantly many of these values being expressed. Ahimsa is there, Shama is there, and you don't know which one is where, Shama also means ahimsa. Accommodating something means I have to learn to accept. I have to learn to accept what he or she is. And so accept it. Otherwise what? Otherwise, I'm not accommodating. Then what happens? I'm doing himsa on the other person. Then himsa will take over. Ahimsa will take over. oh, I'm hurting that person. I'm not supposed to hurt people like this. Yeah, ahimsa is a
And I think based on the studies, I think it is easy to develop titiksha. Even though we don't give a name to it as titiksha, when the study is happening, it is easier for us to understand, and then forbearance, I think, is the product of it.
yeah.
So
Right.
I think it is not, when we try to understand with respect to sitting in one place and a practice, it is difficult to understand, I feel. If it is all understood in the same context as when you are interacting with the world and assimilating each one of it in your day-to-day activities, I don't think there is any boundary to understand what is Upasanam and Dhyanam. It goes hand in hand. The more you understand the concept, it automatically becomes Upasanam, because you are able to stay with that concept for a long time.
Yeah. So you're saying Upasanam is advanced dhyana. Or
Yeah.
dhyanam after understanding better, after having a better
Because
understanding.
even Krishna is referred to in context of various thinking, like dhyayato vishayan pumsaha, there also dhyanam is used. So understanding processes, I feel, dhyanam, because there is always a cross check done there. You have to check whether your value is assimilated, whether it is right, whether it is wrong. This is something where we keep thinking. And when it is very established, I feel Upasanam is the automatic. You don't have conflict.
So Upasanam could be assimilated Dhyanam.
Yeah, dhyanam of an assimilated value is Upasana.
Upasana.
Dhyanam of an assimilated value is Upasanam. Dhyanam of or thinking about a value that is not completely assimilated
It's Dhyanam.
can be done, can be called dhyanam.
Yeah.
Because we are used to the word dhyanam. See, since we are used to the word dhyanam, we are trying to say this. We are saying this, what we are saying now. But for somebody who has not heard the word dhyanam, for that person, it doesn't matter how you say it.
Right.
So that's why that's why it's not necessary to split it, do a hair splitting analysis of it. But the journey is important. Journey is important. And upasanam is used, true, it is used less often than dhyanam. And Krishna says, Dhyayate Vishayan Pupsaha. There he is using the word dhyana for something else. That is also dhyana. That is also dhyana, but not Saguna Brahma Vishaya. It is about some vastu. This is a Vishaya. A binding vastu. Vishinoti iti vastu. Vishaya. Binds. So the other dhyanam is supposed to be removing me from bondage, but this one takes me towards something. So as far as Krishna is concerned, he says, no, I will use the word dhyayate for this particular thing. This guy is very good at during dhyanam also.
So it's like concentrating, right? You're focused on something. Maybe dhyanam is more used when we talk about focus or concentration. Upasanam, maybe because it's in bhakti yoga, more to do with the devotion or that aspect.
So Ashtanga Yoga has got another term for that called as Dharanam. Constant focus.
The way I look at it, Jaykumarji, I feel like anything you do for Chitta Shuddhi, it could be the karma, it could be the dhyana, with the purpose when you do it for Chitta Shuddhi, it could be the japa, which is the upasana is more mental. I feel like anything you do more mental to focus your mind or to expand your mind with Chitta Shuddhi or Chitta Vishalata that you do for dhyanam, the purpose is different, and whereas upasana is more about Ishvara, like japa, or you're trying to concentrate on the saguna Ishvara attributes, and you're focusing on that. So Chitta Shuddhi and Ishvara Dhyana, I think like that is the difference between dhyana and upasana. When you do it to gain control of the mind and the vrittis, it is more dhyana. Whereas when you're doing out of bhakti, because you want to remember Ishvara, where you want to kind of just kind of go over the attributes of Ishvara or something, values or something like that. That is probably more upasana, which is more mental. Like it's a subtle difference, but the way I'm looking at it is the purpose is what probably differentiates it.
That's fine. That's what we are also saying. What you said is not fundamentally different from what we've discussed so far. And so advanced dhyanam is upasana. That's what you're saying. And our purpose based.
The purpose, that's what I was thinking, is more than advanced or initially, like it could be at any level, but depending on what the purpose is, maybe that's how the difference is, probably.
No, but generally we don't use the word upasanam for beginners. Say dhyana. Dhyanam is what we teach. And then
because you want to focus the mind at that time. So focusing the mind or chitta vishalata, for which the dhyanam is done, is probably, that is the initial stage. And then the values and Ishvara and the saguna attributes of Ishvara, which is a little bit advanced, or like the different aspect of, I'm saying, like, you know, I don't know. I'm thinking like what you are using for your mental focus or dhyana is probably a different, causes the difference.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you try to find a way to understand this. And what we're saying, so start with dhyanam, you end up with upasana.
Yeah.
In this, yeah, that is what I think we're all saying. So the dhyanam that we might have done 10 years ago and the dhyanam we do today are somewhat different because of the background we have. The focus
Yes,
is
knowledge will change, because the more knowledge you get, the more it is going to be like you can focus more and you have more things to think about. Same thing, like, for example, now we know so many attributes of Atman that we can think. Initially, we just knew that it is like, you know, Nitya and some Sat and Chit and Ananda, things like that. But we didn't know exactly what to do about it. But the more attributes we learn, the knowledge helps us to kind of focus more in a different way, different angle. It's all about the same thing, but like in a different, you're thinking about the Asanga aspect of Atma, which is close to the space. Like when you're saying about Atma being pure or Nitya, like that, if you, there is more things that you can contemplate on, the more we learn.
That's why I said earlier, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. So that Nididhyasanam is a Viparita Bhavana Nivritti. That is the purpose there. Nididhyasanam, what is the purpose of Nididhyasanam? Removal of Viparita Bhavana. Okay.
Yes.
That is the purpose. That is the purpose there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can do, it can be in the form of a japa, it can be in the form of a monobrata, it can be in the form of any other type. So therefore, the purpose, there we do list the purpose, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Nididhyasanam purpose is there. So, the class.
I'm sorry if I'm taking your time. We can discuss this next class if need be.
So in the Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha. Upanishad says that.
Okay.
So Tavya Pratyaya there, and we understand clearly what Shravanam means. Purpose of Shravanam, purpose of Mananam, purpose of Nididhyasana. So, okay, Dhyanam and Upasanam are two words used. Upasanam is something
Guruji,
used after we have gained more knowledge about the Shastra. Yeah, go ahead. Meera.
Sorry, Guruji. I also thought, like, does it not slowly change from thinking to becoming effortless, like attitude change also, which makes it.
All that is implied. All that is implied. That's why I said, yeah, basic dhyanam is very different from upasana.
Because
basic dhyanam will require us to do even more, even posture, attention to posture, attention to the mind. You now bring the attention to the mind, then you bring the attention to breath. All these things we have to do. So gradually kind of easing in. And the real actual dhyanam is only 5 minutes in the
Yeah.
half an hour. That's all. That's all is possible. Beyond that, that itself is a great accomplishment initially. Correct? But later on, you don't need all that. You don't need all that. You just straight away go in, just and so that's
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
all right. We'll conclude with that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.